Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. So let's get started with line 6. Now talking about the 20 obligations due to Allah, what are called sifat ashreen, or the 20 qualities. It's important to know that, for you to know that even though the Sheikh is going to mention 20 qualities, the opposite of these qualities are also obligations to deny. So he mentions 20 obligations which are related to the mind and the sacred, right? Aqli and Shar'i. And then what's inferred from those, the opposites of those, are 20 also, which we have to deny intellectually as well as based on Sharia. So let's start here with line 6. MashaAllah, here we go again. He says, Fallahu mawjudun, so that's one quality. Qadimun, that's another quality. Baqi, that's another quality. Mukharifun lil khalqi bil itlaqi. So the total number of qualities, concepts, if you will, maybe is a better word, that he mentions about God in this line, line 6, are 4. فَاللَّهُ مَوْجُودٌ قَدِيمٌ بَاقِي مُخَالِفٌ لِلْخَلْقِ بِالْإِطْلَاقِ. So he says, and here's the translation, Allah exists. That's the first thing. It's called sifat al-nafs or sifat al-dhat. I want you to remember that. It's called sifat al-dhat or nafsiyah, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists. Second, he has no beginning, which is qadim. Baqi, no ending. Mukhalifun lil khalqi. Mukhalif means to be in opposition, right? Ikhtilaf, right? In fiqh. Mukhalifun lil khalqi bil itlaqi, that he is completely in opposition to his creation. So let's talk about the first obligation. We're going to do this really in 3 ways. We'll talk about the logical evidence, we'll talk about the Shari'iyya evidence, and then we'll talk about how understanding this should impact our lives. Because that's the goal of faith, right? Is that it has a positive impact in our lives. So the first evidence for Allah's wujud, right? Mawjud, he says, wujud. In fact, most of our scholars say, in fact, wajib al-wujud. A wajib aqli, meaning that Allah's existence is an obligation. What's the logical proof for this? Our scholars used a causation theory. There was a number of theories, but one of the rational evidences they say is that everything around us has a cause, right? Everything around us was brought into existence. So if there is no creator, there's no creator, then there's no creation. Simple argument. There's a really interesting book out there on this. I'll try to mention in a lecture coming soon, inshallah, written by a Christian scholar who found that, really Islam's approach towards proving God was far more rich than anyone else. What is the Shar'i proof for this? Allah says in the Surah Taha, 20th chapter of the Quran, Innani an Allah. I am God, right? He admits his existence. And then Allah's existence, how should that impact our life? What's the fruit of that? One thing I used to say to my students is, you may like this, I'll say it in Arabic. I hope this pen doesn't mess up on us. But, ma'rifah, knowing, al-wujud, thamarat, the fruit of ma'rifat al-wujud, the fruit of knowing that Allah exists, and I would make it rhyme, tarku dhunub. Thamarat ma'rifat al-wujub, tarku dhunub. Leaving al-dhunub. And the reason I write in slang in Arabic is if I actually put the dots, the slide changes, guys. Al-dhunub. So min thamarati ma'rifati al-wujub tarku dhunub. So knowing that Allah exists and believing that Allah exists not only helps give us purpose in life, right? Gives us direction in life, gives us a strategic vision to live by, but it also reminds us that we're not alone and that we'll leave sin. One time a man, he came to Ibrahim ibn Adham and he said, I can't leave sin. And he said, what would you say about someone who you couldn't hide from them? And he said to him, actually go try to hide somewhere. Find some place that you can do this sin and Allah won't see you. He said, that's impossible. Then he said, how could you disobey the one that is constantly observing you? لا يخفى عليه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء. So, if I've really believed that Allah exists, I'm going to be leaving sin. I'm going to be rushing to do good deeds. I'm going to have excellence in my worship. That's the outcome of Aqidah. So there's the cognitive aspect, there's the religious aspect, and then there's the impact of Aqidah on my behavior. As one of my teachers in Azhar used to say, there's a difference between Dars al-Aqidah and Ghars al-Aqidah. Studying creed and cultivating creed. We'll continue next time, inshallah, with the other obligations. But today we took Wujudiyya, which is called Sifatul Nafs, right? Sifatul Nafs. We'll take the rest next time. Barakallahu feekum wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.